music you'll hear on our program, Sacred Soundings.
Hello again. I have another few things to share with you, but first, regarding that introductory clip. If it's Sunday afternoon, it is time for Sacred Soundings, which I listen to locally on Catholic Radio 820 AM. Something I've listened to for quite some time. I am not Catholic, I think maybe I've said before, but I do enjoy listening to a few programs on Catholic Radio, and Sacred Soundings on Sunday afternoons is one of those. They play, obviously, sacred choral music, Gregorian chant, and things of that sort. But that's one among a few Catholic programs I enjoy listening to on my local radio station. Just a few things to share today. A couple of thrift store finds from a few months back. So in keeping with the Catholic theme, this I guess is a Moving About and Manipulating Objects Catholic edition, or let's call it Ecumenical edition. The first thing is this St. Meinrad prayer book, which I found at my local thrift store several months ago. St. Meinrad is not a saint I had ever heard of before, but it was such a neat little book that I decided to bring it home. There is a portrait of St. Meinrad here at the end of the book on a really neat kind of vellum type paper. From what I can gather from the brief account given in this book, St. Meinrad was a 9th century German monastic priest and later hermit that was martyred, and an abbey was set up at the place of his hermitage and has been in existence since. 1,000 years later, some priests and monastics from that order came to America in the 19th century and set up an abbey, a school, a seminary, and a monastic community in southern Indiana, oddly. And this book is produced by alumni of that school and seminary. But it's a neat little prayer book. There's another portrait at the open of the book, Christ portrait, also on vellum or vellum-like paper. St. Meinrad prayer book, produced by the St. Meinrad Alumni Association. Copyright date on this page says 1995. Let me get a better view of that. The book is sewn binding. It came with these two ribbons. I think those are original to the book and not added later, although it's difficult to say. Might have been added, but it's such a well-made book, I think they probably were included. The majority of the book is taken up with Psalms in a translation that I am not familiar with. Reprint of the Psalms has been granted by A.P. Watt Limited on behalf of the Grail, England. The Psalms were taken from The Psalms, an inclusive language edition published by the GIA in 1993. But they are set up as prayers and for certain days of the week. There's the story of St. Meinrad. Liturgy of the Hours, and here are the day by day, the Psalms to pray. That's the majority of the book. Marian prayers, rosary, very odd inclusion at the end, and I'm not sure the significance, but there's a section that is taken from the AA, Alcoholics Anonymous handbooks, the 12 steps, which I am not certain why that's included. Certainly the 12 steps are something that could be useful for anyone. And as far as I know, St. Meinrad is not patron saint of alcoholics, so I'm not certain why the inclusion of that, but it takes up a chunk of the end of the book. There's an index at the end. And again, that really well done portrait of St. Meinrad. So, interesting little book, cloth cover, sewn binding, the ribbons, it's in really good shape. I probably paid $1 or so, I don't recall exactly, for this book. Also at the same thrift store, my local thrift, I found this book, Roman Catholics and Evangelicals, Agreements and Differences, Norman Geisler, or Geisler, I think it's Geisler, and Ralph E. MacKenzie, two who I believe are both Protestant apologists, philosophers, something of that nature. I'm always interested, as I've said multiple times, I'm not Catholic. I do like to listen to programs on Catholic radio. I am always interested in evaluating kind of my own faith, the things that I believe, why I believe them, why my faith tradition believes the way they do and worships the way they do. Why did they separate from the Catholic Church at some point in the distant past and from the Anglican Church at a later point? Are the things that I believe the correct things, etc.? So I thought this would be a very interesting book, and what really sold me on it, two things. There's a blurb on the back. This book offers a comprehensive and balanced discussion and should retire older sensationalistic works from a James Akin, Roman Catholic. Now that's a name I'm familiar with, and in the acknowledgments it mentions Mr. Akin again. Okay, we especially appreciate the help of Catholic Answers, which is a radio program, who allowed us the use of their resources. One of their staff members, James Akin, delivered a time-consuming and invaluable effort of evaluation and critique of parts 1 and 2. James Akin, who goes by Jimmy Akin now, is a host on Catholic Answers Live. I mean, they have other, they do other things other than the radio program. I believe they have a publishing arm, etc. But I've listened to Catholic Answers Live for years, and I've always enjoyed that program just for the depth of knowledge you get, not just of Catholic teaching, but of basic Orthodox Christian thinking and apologetics. Jimmy Akin especially has been a standout to me for his depth of knowledge of Scripture, his graciousness and gentle handling of callers who are Protestant maybe, or not Christian at all, that call into the program with various questions. And just been a big fan of that program and Jimmy Akin in particular. So when I saw his name in the blurb and in the acknowledgments, I really thought this would be something that I would want. Another blurb here of interest from Richard John Newhouse, a more famous, I guess, convert to Catholicism, says, I hope Catholics and Evangelicals will read this book together with the Catechism of the Catholic Church at hand for ready reference. I guess as luck would have it, at the same thrift, on the same day, I think, I found this paperback copy, Catechism of the Catholic Church, little quote from Pope John Paul II, a sure norm for teaching the faith. Big, thick book. Catechism of the Catholic Church. So I decided I'll take that home too. Why not? I'll do what Mr. Newhouse recommends. I thought there was a receipt at the beginning here. I think I paid 50 cents for this. Oh, maybe it's hiding there. Yes, 50 cents back in March. So, at some point I will finish reading this Roman Catholics and Evangelicals, Agreements and Differences. I will finish reading that and try to give a full report. I've only read a short ways into it, but it is interesting and useful, and I think I'll very much enjoy it. So, just a couple of finds for this ecumenical edition of Moving About and Manipulating Objects. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.